All right, so we have a quorum. We're going to open the meeting. Our first order of business will be an executive session. So I will make the motion that we go into executive session to discuss town accountant pursuant to General Laws, Chapter 38, Section 21A2, to conduct strategy session in preparation for negotiations with non-union personnel. We're not going to do collective bargaining. So that would be my motion.
I'll second that.
All right, and we will adjourn and then come back. So Mr. Nezaro?
Yes.
Mr. Seeley?
Yes.
And I go yes also. So we'll adjourn and we'll come back as soon as we're
Sounds good.
back into public session. Again, this is being recorded by Area 58. If you would join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right, let's see here. Our first appointment isn't until 6:15.
So if we want to take the building department fees first,
Where's that?
that's the first item here, because that's what we have ad for.
Oh, okay, oh, that's why you're here? Okay. Yeah, all right, so let's go right to that. So we have a proposal to change our fees for the building department?
Yes.
So just to give a little bit of background, the Finance Committee had asked that all departments annually review their fee schedules just to make sure that we're in line with comparable communities. We're obviously not looking to charge any more, but we want to continuously review those to make sure that they are in line with where they need to be. When we brought Ed on board, it was one of the first discussions that we had. I had asked him, after he got settled in, if he could review other communities and take a look at our existing fee structure, and then if there were any recommendations to bring those forward and then bring them to a board meeting for your review and approval. So that's exactly what he did. He did a very nice job. He was very thorough in his review. So I'll let Ed get into the details, but in your packet is 3 separate sheets. One of them is for building permit fees, one is for gas and plumbing, and the other is for electrical. And then the other is the building permit fees is a 2022 version, which is the old fee schedule, and then the 2024 version, which is the proposed new fee schedule.
Just so on these new proposals, is the red?
The red is the old amount, and then this for the building, there's a 2022 version, but I'll let Ed get into it. Try to give a little bit of background.
Any place specially you'd like to start?
Just your general recommendation and overview, I think, would probably be all we need.
So we took and went through 10 different towns of comparable size, shape, and makeup. And we found that, we were on the lower end of average. And then digging into a couple of these towns, I spoke with some of the other commissioners. They have not had a fee restructure in a few years, so it's a little bit of a skewed average. But we put together some numbers that put us to, I would say, average, just on top of average, essentially, and put those numbers together for the new fee structures.
Okay.
On the Excel spreadsheet, you can see where we were at and what the proposed is. And then the last panel is the average. It's kind of a 2-sheet.
I tried to condense it. So what Ed did was he put basically scenarios in there.
Yeah, I have that.
So a little more readable.
Oh, yeah.
A little longer, but a little more readable.
All right, you guys see this?
Yep, I have a marriage going here.
Oh, so compared all the towns.
Yep. I looked at some of the prices and we had deck permits for $50. I can't start the inspection vehicle for $50 to drive it out around town. So we're losing money on some of these permits, and my idea was just to bring it back into line and then kind of put all of the fees at about the same setup. So instead of having a fee for this, a fee for this, a fee for this, everything's just based on contract price, $12 per thousand. Just makes easier for the applicants that there's only one fee now. They're not calling and saying, well, I'm doing a shed plus a couple windows plus it. Now it's just give me the price of the overall deal. Here we go, and that's where we'll be at.
Okay.
We're looking to increase the price on the commercial permits. They were at the same price. Obviously, a lot more goes into a commercial building than a residential. So that's fairly typical throughout the Commonwealth to have a little higher price on those.
Okay.
I have the-
Do you want to highlight anything, or we just go with what you have, or, because there's quite a few different changes. I mean, there's all individual changes in here, so.
Yeah, well, that's, I mean, if there's anything you'd like me to highlight on, I'm happy to.
Okay. Any questions from anybody on the board?
No, I've looked through it. While I do agree it's an increase, it's a moderate increase. We're not setting the market for increases here. Just curious, Ed, do we know when the last time we've raised them? I know you're relatively new to the town here,
So it
but,
looks like there was a new fee structure put in place in 2022,
okay.
which actually somehow, the fee structure has changed,
Yep.
and the permit prices actually went down in 2022.
Oh,
So
really?
we're charging less for a permit with an easier fee structure. I don't know if that was a mistake, if it was, on purpose, but I'm not really sure what went into the thought on that one, but
Well,
the town started losing money from whatever the previous structure was to the 2022 permit structure, at least on new houses and bigger alterations.
Do you have a ballpark? I know each year is different, but do you have a ballpark on what this new fee structure would generate compared to previous years, or is that a little too? I know it's nebulous. It's hard to kind of figure that.
The biggest increases here will be in the, essentially in the solar panels. Most of our solar permits come in and they're under $150. Most other towns, typical permit fees for those are $300 to $400. This brings us a little closer in line to those. A lot of these, for what we see day to day here, half of these fees will never even see the light of day. They're kind of tucked in the back and they're there if we need them, but they're not something that we typically use.
Okay.
Okay.
One of the big things in Ed and I's conversation was like, if someone under the existing structure were putting in a $60,000 pool or $100,000 pool, our pool permit fee is right now $100, right?
Yeah.
So it didn't seem fair that someone who's putting in a $5,000 above ground pool was
Paying the
paying the
same
same
fee.
permit fee as someone putting in a
Sure.
$150,000, which requires much more extensive work on our end. Really what we're trying to do is, in the point of building permit fees, is cover our costs. What we found is, we're really not covering our costs anymore.
So, I mean, on the residential side, it's a 0.2% increase.
Okay.
So if you were to take that over the course of the year, that's
That's what we're
what
looking
we'd
at.
expect the increase to be.
Okay.
Possibly a little more because, again, the pools and the solar panels do jump a little bit more. But again, well, with the pools, we don't see a ton of them. The solar panels will be our biggest gain here.
Great.
Any other questions from the board? You have a question?
Dimitri Potential, sorry, I'm wondering, is the solar panel fee for roof solar panels or the fields?
It's for both.
Oh, yeah.
So we've increased the price. Right now, we're at $5 per panel on solar panels for roofs. We've just increased that to $12 per thousand of the total project cost. For large-scale solar over 250K, which would be your fields, it'll go to $16,000 per megawatt, which if you were to take the Spring Street project, I believe the increase was,
Spreadsheet.
it'd be about $5,000 for a project of that size.
And my next question would be, didn't 266 and 265 on Ponset Street have their permits waived? Reduced?
As part of the master development agreement, it was a 50% decrease, but this would see an increase, right? So they would still also see the increase as well. If we're increasing fees, the idea would be the board
Across the board.
Well, I'm
approves
just
it.
saying it's harder for a smaller business and a small home-time guy to do it, but will give a corporation a major reduction on 102 apartments that, by the way, still aren't okay by the state.
Okay. Any other questions? All right, I'll make a motion that we approve the new schedule. Do we have a second?
I will second that.
Just do effective July 1st. We want to give people time to get these up
Okay.
and let people know they're coming.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yep, effective July 1st.
I'll
Any,
s-
with a
I'll second that new amendment,
Any
yeah.
discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous. I have
Thank you, Ed.
six-
Appreciate
thank you.
it.
Thanks, Ed.
I
Nice
have
job.
6:15, and we have a poll hearing scheduled. Is anybody here for that? Are you here for that? You want to come on up front, maybe? All right. Good. All right, let me make sure we follow.
Oh, it should be right, actually in that packet too, right, John?
Well, this here's got what to do, right?
Yeah, and then that next page should have the,
Oh, you're right, okay.
right on the next page, if you come back. Oh, yeah.
Yep, the notice. Okay. All right, so we'll open the public hearing. We'll hold a public hearing on Tuesday, April 23rd at 6:15, Selectmen's Meeting Room, Town Hall, 499 Plymouth Street, for the purpose of hearing the joint petition submitted by Massachusetts Electric Company and Verizon New England, Inc. to replace poles 13 and 14 with pole 13-50. And this looks like it takes place on Holmes Street. All right. Do you want to just tell us who you are, so we have it on the record, and how you fit into all this?
My name is Mohammed. I'm here on behalf of National Grid. And the job that's going on is we're actually replacing pole 13 and 14, and we're not replacing them for a new pole. We're going to keep those poles, but actually install a new pole 13-50, so we can put up a recloser on that pole. General description of what a recloser does is kind of like protection. If something were to happen to the grid, tree fell on the wires and such, it would cut power to a specific area of people instead of causing a lot of people to lose power.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anybody else here for this? So I don't see any public comments. Does anybody from the board have any questions?
So you're not getting rid of 13 and 14, you're keeping those, you're just adding 13-50.
Yeah, and
So
we're
it has that
replacing-
new system on top,
Yes, and we're replacing 13 and 14. I think we're just
just with new poles.
same bigger poles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the only thing I saw was the town, Steve had, don't drill into if you do drill into the walkway, try to seal it up so it doesn't get water and rot it out. That's the only thing I saw.
Yeah, I think that's stipulation on that.
Yeah.
It'll be on the permit.
Yeah,
if
I'm
the board
pretty
approves.
sure National Grid is supposed
Yeah.
to do that. Yeah.
Like if you have to go into the sidewalk unless you can go off the sidewalk.
No, I think it's gonna happen on the sidewalk.
And just part of this process, were the residents in this area alerted to the meeting this evening, or?
Yeah, they should have been here.
Okay.
Yeah.
We have to do that.
Yep, just making sure.
Actually, that's right on the permit here. It's the sidewalk seal that you're asking about.
Yep.
Okay, any other questions, discussion? All right, then in that case, I'll make a motion to approve the,
Did you close the public hearing?
I should close it first, yeah. So first motion will be to close the public hearing. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous. All right, next we'll make a motion to approve the installation of the pole as requested by Massachusetts Electric Company and Verizon.
I'll second that.
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous. So sign this, and I think you can get a copy from Pam.
Yep.
Right, Pam?
Yeah, we'll send you over the permit
Yeah.
when it's all set.
All right.
Awesome.
You're great.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for coming.
Appreciate your time. Thank you.
All right, we don't have an appointment now till 6:30, so we can go about approving warrants and so on.
We're going to move the approval supplements April 9th. They weren't ready yet, so we'll move to the next meeting.
Next meeting?
I move to confirm the approval of following commitments and warrants. Vendor warrant number 94 for $277,920.80. The ambulance commitment from 4/1/2024 to 4/7/2024 for $61,591.18. Ambulance commitment from 4/8/2024 to 4/14/2024 for $46,160.72.
Second?
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous.
Move to approve the following commitments of warrants. Payroll warrant number 95 for $456,115.32. Vendor warrant number 96 for $100,920.58. Withholding warrant number 97 for $157,718.97. mobile home park fee number 4 for $5,160.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous. Okay. Going down here through
Do abatements?
the abatements. Yep. So we have, first abatement from the fire department is for February 2024, and they're requesting an abatement of $144,675.35. So I would make that motion.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous. The second abatement is for March 2024, $66,230.29.
Second.
Make that motion. Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous. Water treatment contract here?
Yes, so as you are aware, we are undergoing upgrades to our water treatment facilities. The process has been delayed, as you know, over the past couple of years. It is officially underway. The contractor has begun the work. But with that, the engineering firm that's serving as our project manager has submitted a change of scope. Ultimately, it reflects updated dates to reflect the actual contract term, and also expanded scope, which will increase the cost of services by $31,600. The result really is just more coordination and work as needed. The scope has expanded. So we do have the funding in place. Bill Lindsay and the water commissioners have reviewed, signed off on it, but we just needed to bring it forward for the board of selectmen to approve.
All right. Any discussion from the Board of Selectmen? All right, then I'll move that we approve the agreement for engineering service with Tata and Howard. Do we have a
Second.
Any discussion? Yes?
Jeremy Gillespie, not Richby. What's the total cost for the YMCA plant upgrade?
They're wrapped into two. It's both upgrades, and it's a little less than $3 million.
So this just for the YMCA camp or for both?
For both.
Both parts.
For both.
Okay.
This isn't for that, though. This is our engineer.
This is just the engineer serving as the project manager, and that number includes this work as well.
In other words, this isn't the company that's doing the work. This is our town engineer we're hiring to oversee it.
It's like a peer review?
Like a project manager.
Project manager more.
Okay, so what is the total cost for the YMCA well treatment upgrades?
I don't have that breakdown in front of me. If you reach out to,
You should give me your best guess.
Not-
Ask your number.
I don't even want to take a shot at it. I just know the total amount. I can certainly get that information though.
Thank you.
Okay, all those in favor of the contract, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. So here's another paper to sign. Okay, we have another contract with Ocean State Pyrotechnics for the fireworks. Mr.
Yes.
Seawood probably knows all about this.
Wow, a little bit.
In fact, it's addressed to you. Oh, no, that's something different. That's the next one.
So the contract is with Ocean State Pyrotechnics. Again, it's a contract, so it requires the Board of Selectmen's approval. The contract's being approved. This is for the 4th of July fireworks, scheduled for June 29th, rain date of June 30th. We're having it approved now because they require a deposit. This is all with donated funds, so no need for the procurement process or anything, but just need to bring it before the board
We
for
have
approval.
the money in the bank to pay for it.
We do, yeah.
Yep, okay. And these are the ones that did this last year, is that right? If you know?
it's a
They've
different
been
company.
switching back and forth. I know the big overrider on a lot of it is the date. You know, everybody wants to be as close to the 4th as they can.
Oh, yeah.
So the good part is we're at the 29th, so we're as close to the 4th as we can kind of get. So I know that was one of the deciding factors on why to go with these folks.
Oh, that's great. Just so we put it on the record, the proposed date is June 29th, 2024 for the annual Halifax fireworks display.
Yep.
With a rain date of June 30th. I assume that's Saturday and Sunday. Okay, so do we have a, do you want to make a motion, Mr.
Sure, I'll
Seawood?
make a motion to accept the
Just me?
I'll make a motion to accept the contract with Ocean State Pyrotechnics for the July 4th celebration dated June 29th, 2024.
All set?
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous? And all signed off.
Thank you.
All right. Next up is reappointment of Barbara Curtis to the Old Colony Elder Services Representative.
So the town has every member community has a representative to Old Colony Elder Services. Barbara is our outreach coordinator at the Council on Aging. You guys had appointed her to this position when she started. The Old Colony requires it to be an annual reappointment, so they're just asking to reappoint Barbara.
Okay. And you were the one who thought of it.
Yeah, no, I think it's a great idea because there's a lot of insider stuff with that job and as far as COAs go, so it makes total sense to have somebody that's in it on a daily basis. So I think it'll be good for Halifax to have Barbara be our representative.
All right, do we have a motion?
I'll gladly make the motion to reappoint Barbara Curtis as our Old Colony Elder Services representative.
And also,
Any discussion? All those in favor say, term ending June 30th, 2025. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
It's unanimous. Signed up. All right, we have a letter from the highway surveyor. I am writing to let you know that our department received a generous salt donation from J. McKinnon Company, located in Hanson, Massachusetts. We received 130 tons of road salt this spring with an estimated value of $70 per ton. So that's a good thing. So I suppose I would recommend that we write a letter to McKinnon, J. McKinnon Company, thanking them for the donation and copying Mr. Hayward and congratulating him on a job well done.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous. All right. We have a memo from the Highway Department.
We're skipping over
We can
that.
skip over that to next meeting, just because we're going to talk about funding different ARPA projects.
Okay.
So I thought it would be more beneficial to tie that in.
I noticed that was on that list of capital improvements. anyway,
Yes,
so-
exactly.
So we're going to skip that. Let's see, I don't have the paperwork, but we have a roll.
I have it right here. Yeah, so this is the 98 Home Street.
Okay. Let's see here.
I'm just contingent upon approval from Conservation, because they're meeting tonight.
All right. So we have a request from Eversource to open a 4x6 road cut to abandoned gas service line it must be an abandoned gas service line to demo at 98 Home Street. The stipulation is it has to be approved by the Conservation Commission. Otherwise, the building inspector, police department, highway have already approved it. So I'll make a motion that we approve the road opening permit.
also,
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous.
And this
And
is
we have
203
another one.
Oak Street.
Same thing with contingent on approval from Conservation and Highway. This is again for Eversource to open a 4x6 road cut and a 4x15-foot road cut trench to install new gas service at 203 Oak Street. Again, this will be contingent on approval from Conservation and Highway, building inspector, police, water, and everyone else. The Highway Department has approved, but everyone else has. So I'll make a motion that we approve this road opening also.
I'll second that.
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous. 6:30.
We have 2 more minutes.
Got one more minute? All right, so since Jeremy's, Alan, you're here, good. All right. We don't have you on as a scheduled date, but we do have your application here.
So this was put on because we received the talent bank form. When the board approved the charge for the Alewife Restoration Committee, you only did it as 3 members. So we wanted to bring it forward on how you'd like to proceed. I know Jeremy's here, so, but if you wanted to expand that, so if you were looking to expand it, you would just need to vote to amend the charge to X members, whatever your decision is, and we can do that. And then if you were to vote to appoint someone, then that would be 2 separate motions. But just bring it forward to see how you wanted to proceed.
Jeremy, you want to tell us what you think?
Well, we have 3 now, maybe 4 would be better.
Should we do like raise it to maybe 5?
You could do up to 5, and then if it's filled, great. If it's not, that's okay.
This is better, but, you know, in case we get sick out of town. Sure.
Yep.
Whatever.
Okay. What's the board think? I think we should just increase it to 5.
The gates
and then,
for the
if-
department.
Up to 5 if necessary.
Yeah, no, I think that makes sense.
So
To
let me-
Jeremy's point.
Let me make that motion first, that we, the Alewife Restoration Commission will change the makeup of it to up to 5 members.
I'll second that.
All right, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Right. And now, Alan, how did Jeremy hook you into this? And you understand, let's talk to you about what he wants you to
You
do.
were fishing with him again, were you? Gets his fishing guys.
Well, I am kind of like an amateur naturalist at heart. I always have been my whole life, very interested in nature. For a few years, I was a fisherman, lobsterman, and so for a lobsterman, the cycle of the herring is very important. It's part of their process, the bait process, whatever. And the herring clearly has been in distress for a while. And not only would it be good for the town to encourage the fish to breed in the ponds again and everything, it would just be good for the total wildlife cycle, you know. So I think it's something that we could pay attention to. And it's easy to do. A lot of people don't even notice. But it's something that we can easily do to help the crisis that's here, that we're facing.
Okay. Any questions from the board?
And to answer your question about how I got involved,
Yeah.
he's on the committee with my wife on beautification.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
You know, that old last
Subtle blackmail.
Now, I want you guys to see this button. You see this button? Can you see that far? Do you know what that is? That is an original Earth Day button from 1970. So I've kept it all this time. So my bona fides as an environmentalist, they're right out in front of me.
It's almost as old as you.
Or as an antique.
Gave it to him when he was born.
No,
Yeah, some way.
that was 7th grade.
Get you some waiter and we'll put you out there. You're not scared to
All right, so I'll make a motion to appoint Alan Palmer as another representative to the Alewife Restoration Commission.
Gladly second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. I mean opposed, I'm sorry. Any opposed? No, it's unanimous, sorry about that. Okay, next we have Mr. Diaz, Alan Diaz, who has an application for the Conservation Commission. How many openings are there on there, do you know?
Right now, we have 1 opening. Sure.
1 opening. Okay.
I think there's actually 3. The charter set up for 5 members and 2 alternates. My memory is correct.
Yeah, that's correct.
They haven't had alternates for a number of years.
Okay. So we have a letter from Ms. Salter, Peggy Salter, an email dated March of 2024. The commission met with Mr. Diaz during their Tuesday, March 26th meeting. The committee voted 2-1 to recommend Mr. Diaz to the select board as a conservation board member. Member Martin Plant abstained from the vote, citing she did not have enough experience to make that kind of a decision. Please add Mr. Diaz to your agenda for the Commission's requested appointment of Mr. Diaz to the Conservation Commission. We have gotten email from, at least from Mr. Gillespie. I don't have it here with me. And if you have something to say, you may as well.
I mean, I like my email read into the record.
I don't.
I could find one with the
Yeah.
image on top. This is the one.
No, there's a new one.
Okay, so
All right, well, why don't you tell us what why you want to be on the commission and so on?
Gentlemen, as you're well aware, I mean, everybody is familiar with me and what I've done in the town. I've been a resident for 46 years. I have watched the Conservation Commission meetings for the last year or so, and the commission is a very important function of the town. And it's kind of missing what I think it really needs, some experience. You've got new members, you've got members that are leaving, you've got new members that are starting. And I think that with my experience, I've been a contractor for 35 years. I've represented clients on this side of the from the Conservation Commission meetings. I'm familiar with the Wetlands Protection Act. I'm familiar with the stormwater management, sanitation code. And I think I can assist the board in trying to get itself reorganized so that it functions as a good board and it's not just handling complaints, okay? I think my emphasis, if you guys choose to appoint me, would be on stormwater management. We've got some regulations, they've been in effect for a while. There's nobody really out there to pay attention to that. They don't have an agent. So if this board feels as though I can help that board, I'm okay. I did speak with the chair. My goal is probably to be on the board for about a year, if possible. And hopefully we can get that board organized. The meeting schedule, I should say meeting schedules, meeting formats. The meetings are kind of jumbled, if you see this. And then assist with stormwater management. That will be my goal.
I guess that's the email there,
All
I
right,
guess.
so we did get an email today, and I'll just read it. It says, "Dear Board of Selectmen, please see attached note and the following regarding 0 Pine Street, North Halifax. 0 Pine Street, North Halifax. Mass DEP confirmed that fill material has been brought onto the property. Mass DEP confirmed that additional clearing has taken place on the property. Mass DEP confirmed that the property is located in a riverfront area, violation of Rivers Protection Act and Wetlands Protection. Mass DEP confirmed that the property is a wetland. Mass DEP confirmed that the property falls within an outstanding resource waters and their tributaries. Outstanding, and there's a whole bunch of citations here. Denotes 3314 CMR 4 as outstanding resource waters. Outstanding resource waters include Class A public water supplies and their tributaries and certain surface waters and other waters as determined by the department based on their outstanding socioeconomic, recreational, ecological, and/or aesthetic values. It's my strong opinion Mr. Dias should not be appointed to the Halifax Conservation Commission. In addition to the wetlands and other violations ongoing at his 0 Pine Street North property, he's also currently personally engaged with the Water Department on a proposed construction development within priority habitat and which there's no current approved site plan. Additionally, Mr. Diaz owns many acres of wetlands in and around East Monpont. Though I have no doubt that Mr. Diaz is a very intelligent and hardworking man, it's my personal opinion that he has too many conflicts of interest to appropriately and fairly serve on the Halifax Conservation Commission. Please take this into consideration when deciding on how to vote. All right, so that's the email we received. I don't know if you have anything you want to respond to, or you don't have to, it's up to you.
The comment I want to make on Mr. Gillespie's allegations, they've been well vetted. They've been vetted by DEP. Quite frankly, he doesn't know what he's talking about.
Okay. Do you foresee you have any conflicts if you're on the conservation?
One of the issues one of the questions I had at the conservation meeting is, how would I handle where I'm still working, I'm not fully working, I'm trying to retire. How do you handle that type of situation? I know a lot of people in town. If I have a financial interest, then I would recuse myself. If, because you know someone, if there was the potential, we'd file disclosures. I'm very familiar with the open meeting laws, so I have no issue with either recusing myself or filing a disclosure. And I want to point out one thing about the Conservation Commission. When you're looking at a plan and you're looking at wetlands, it's kind of like check the box. If it meets that criteria, then you need to allow it. So some of the emphasis is reading the plans, trying to determine, just how much of an impact it's on wetlands. But, that I understand, I've been there. But as far as conflict, I'm very familiar with the conflict of interest laws. And if it came to a situation where it was a close friend, I'd recuse myself.
Okay. Anyone from the board have any questions?
You have another one there, John.
Oh, no. I just want to say Eddie Lane, 82 Walnut Street.
Yep.
I'm on the Conservation Commission. Been there for a while. I think his experience will really help with the process of more organized meetings. He's obviously somewhat retired, so he is in the area. Some of us on the board do work, so we have really no way to get back here if something came up or anything like that. And obviously we don't have a conservation agent, which would obviously help, but I think it'd be an asset, actually.
Okay, thank you.
And like he says, if he has a conflict of interest, he would excuse himself.
Okay, thank you. All right, anybody else? Comments? Yes.
I'd like to make a comment. Mr. Lane was the one chosen to go do a site visit at 0 Pine Street North when Conservation went out there. He was one of the people that went out there. I don't know if Kathy went. And Mr. Lane actually, he lied at the Conservation Commission meeting. He lied because he said, I went out to the site, no fill has been brought into the property, nothing's been added to the property, and if you look at everything I sent you from Mass DEP, which I obtained through a public records request, they admit fill was brought into the property. You go look up, you can go on, anybody can go on USGS Interactive and run LiDAR on there and see piles of debris within 200 feet of Stetson Brook, which is a river. So Mr. Lane was not truthful in his statements regarding the site visit. Mass DEP is aware, and then my understanding is they're still currently investigating. I mean, you can't take a cranberry bog and just dump a bunch of stuff on it next to the largest, Stetson Brook runs into East Mount Monson. That is a very important piece of water, and he has not taken good care of that land at least within 200 feet of that stream, and it's 200 feet.
Okay.
These are facts.
Anybody from the board have any comments, questions?
This is a tough one. This has been one of the hardest decisions I've had to make since being a selectman. Alan, I want to thank you for your service to the town. You've done decades worth of service. I know his integrity is being questioned. I don't have questions with his integrity. I don't have questions that he's a hardworking, good citizen of Halifax. But I do think, for better or worse, it's gotten to be a little political. You put yourself out there politically. And I know we as a town are trying to move past that a little bit. So, again, very, very hard. Very hard decision for me. But I don't think I can go for your approval just based on past experience with the recent political things. And it pains me because I know you're a very knowledgeable guy. And I think on that aspect you'd be great. But as a town, we're trying to move forward with things. So I hope you understand where I'm coming from here.
That I do. And I don't think that my political views has any, my political views won't make a difference when I'm looking at regulations, okay? We have regulations, you read those, you interpret them, you make your decision based on those regulations. I think political views are whatever.
Okay.
All right, anybody else from the board have anything?
Honestly, with his background and everything, yes, he's had some stuff in the past politically, like you said, but with his knowledge and dedication to everything in the town for the 46 years he's lived here, and everything he's done to up until this thing with all of his training and whatnot, it's a lot more than the board that we have now. And it, like Mr. Lane said, it would help out because he's got experience and time and he knows how to read the plans. Some people aren't going to agree with me, and that's how we are. But with that being said, you got different things, and he's got the knowledge and know-how to do things within the conservation. And I don't see the reason of not.
Good.
Do you have any other applications? And
That's the only one we
I
have.
believe there is one more from what I've heard.
Not that we've seen.
We don't have, all we have before us is Mr. Diaz's, and apparently that's the only one that's been there.
Well, I personally would like to add on to the fact that when I sat on the planning board with Alan Diaz, it was a nightmare. And he and his girlfriend sent a letter to the employer that I work for and told them in a lengthy page and a half that I was a racist. So he does cause a lot of issue, and my boss, a broker of the office, I'd worked for him for 18 years, called me and said, I just want you to know that I received this. But I know it's absolutely stunningly not true. So therefore, I am letting you know that this occurred. And then I would also bring you to the fact that if he told 2 other conservation agents that they were not allowed on his property, that would be also not a good idea to put him on the conservation when he already didn't approve of 2 people from the conservation board going over to his property. And had, I believe that's in writing, isn't it?
Yes.
So, I mean, like, that right there is a very, very serious thing. You took a board of people who were appointed to read the laws and regulations and said, I'm sorry, but you 2 can't come over. They were appointed by the Board of Selectmen to represent the town, and they were not allowed to go over and assess his property. He's got a lawsuit in Hanson going on due to conservation, and I will stand here and I will again remind you of the fact that why would I deserve a letter being sent to my broker? And I can share it with you as public record.
Okay. Any other comments from the board?
John, so like I'd like to bring up something that you said one time to me.
Okay.
You know, we need to bring some new people in, some younger people in on these boards, committees. Cody, you know, good hire. I'm real happy with him. He's a hard worker. We're kind of sick of the old towny stuff, you know. And you said that, like the same people always on there, you know. Other people will apply who have the knowledge. If he has such knowledge about the Wetlands Protection Act, then why is he currently violating it? Or why did he violate it? I mean, I'm just asking you to think about it, because it's easy to appoint somebody, it's more difficult to remove them. Conservation's not missed any meetings because they didn't have quorum. They have quorum. I mean, there was 4 people last time I went. I just don't think Mr. Diaz, and I'm not saying anything about his intelligence. I believe him to be very intelligent and a hard worker, but I don't think conservation's the right fit for him. Okay. And I think that we've kind of had enough of the same old folks floating around for a while. It's a bad look.
Okay, any other comments from the board? Okay, so my view is this. When we appointed you to the bylaw committee, right? And Mr. Diaz came and he said, you know, I don't remember all the details, but I didn't think you would be a good fit. And I thought, and he said, you shouldn't do that. But we appointed you anyway. And I think you've done an excellent job. And my thought at the time was, you know, there may be a clash of personalities in some of this, and I don't know all this history, and I know that there is a lot of history between a lot of people. And I take it into account, but I don't give it as, I don't make a decision based just on that. Personally, I know Alan. I've known him for long as I've been in town, and to his parents. His father was the first Grand Knight at our church, the hall's named after him. So I know them pretty well. I know all his warts. I know he's had issues up and down, and so haven't we all. So I'm not really concerned about that, but I look at the possibility here, the credentialing, it's very good. I know this is his business, he knows his business, there's no question in my mind about that.
That's a problem.
Well, either way, and I don't think that, I just don't have that concern with this appointment, and particularly when we have the board itself who has already talked to him, and they feel comfortable with him also. So that would be my thought process on all of this. So unless we have any other comments, I'll make a motion to appoint Mr. Diaz to the Conservation Commission. When does this expire?
Yeah, I don't know, I'm sorry, I didn't have that, but I can get
John.
that.
Hold on.
Let me just go get that, you guys can continue
Okay.
on.
Let me see if I can get a second first. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right.
Can you please read the DEP?
I'm sorry?
You have proof in an email of DEP stating issues.
An email from DEP? No.
Isn't there?
Yeah, that's an attachment.
Yeah, we have the
So you're
attachment.
going to appoint somebody to the Conservation Commission that
Yeah.
has clearly violated the
Okay.
Wetland Protection Act.
Okay, I heard you.
I mean, is that what you want to do?
Mr. Chairman, point of order.
We heard you, okay?
Thanks.
We heard all that, seen it, it's in the record. We don't really need to go into
But it's also in the record that you're representing us and seeing this
I hear that.
and not doing what's right by the town.
I hear that. That's fine. We've heard that already. Thank you. All right. Any further discussion
Again.
from the board? All right. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Aye. So it passes by majority vote. And well, I'm sure you'll do a good job, and we look forward to it. So. Thanks.
Alan, we'll send a letter. Pam will contact you, and you'll just need to get sworn in at the clerk's office. But she'll reach out to you.
Only because I have to see Mr. Goodman, he resigned.
That's fine.
And I can't remember when his term would have been up, so I have to go by his term because he's filling in the unexpired term.
Whenever you'd have it, just have John sign the card,
As long as you're not squishing.
and then just send Alan an email.
I will,
Yeah, yeah.
in this letter anyway, and say
Yep.
the term expired.
That's fine.
Okay, so that's fine,
They
yeah.
only take a little bit, right?
Maybe your skills could come in handy. We could use a little of you.
My black belt skills, yeah.
Both of them.
I second.
Am I supposed to do anything with this, or is this just a no?
No, it's just like.
All right. So that brings us to.
I said opposed.
That brings us to updates.
MBT action plan, no updates. Morse Brothers, no new updates. Training for boards and committees, no new updates. As far as staffing and operations, warrants went out. People should start receiving them today. I think actually Selectman
mine
Seelig
today.
received his today.
I got mine
So those will start coming in the mail. We officially launched our community forum, Halifax. So that was posted on our Facebook page.
Have we had any hiccups with that?
No. It's been a good system. We've received 1 or 2 comments so far, and we've been pretty quick to get back to them. But we really want to emphasize people to utilize that rather than social media, as they can get the accurate information. And then the only other thing was today, Selectman Seelig and I continued what we've done in past town meetings. We did a town meeting warrant preview, so we filmed that with Area 58. We'd received good feedback in the past, so we went through each article, gave a brief explanation, and touched on some of the points. So that should be getting sent out by Area 58 by the end of the week as well, so residents can watch that and get a little, some more information prior to town meeting based on that. And then just a reminder, town meeting's May 13th.
I thought I saw a letter from Representative Lenatra about
Yes.
the MBTA. And I think, did you guys get it?
We got
it.
Yeah.
So somehow it's going to be part of our record.
Yeah.
I appreciate the fact that she responded. That's good. But I don't think the point, that she got the point. Our point is that her constituents and our constituents, which is the town of Halifax, oppose and don't approve of and don't like this particular law. And as a member of the legislature, the changes to that law would have to come through the legislature. And as our representative, we would ask her to do that, or at least to figure out a way to mitigate the issue. But we can't really have her do that if she won't come and talk to the town. So sending us a letter saying, well, you can call me anytime and talk about it is really, I mean, that's nice, but I'm not gonna take up her cross. You know, the state legislature has to defend this to the people in town. I'm not gonna do it because I don't agree with it. So with that being said, I wonder if, again, we should write another letter, say thank you for this one, but what we really would like you to do is come into town and hold a forum and explain to the people what this law is or what it's not, or why it can't be changed or why it can. That's what I think, because that's what I really want out of this. Again, we sat through the meeting with a whole room full of angry people, and like, well, you're mad at me, but I never even do with it, right?
Sure.
And I can't fix it. So why don't we have the people that can fix it come in and explain it? That's what I would like to do.
Okay, yeah, I definitely think we should acknowledge the receipt of the letter, at least.
Yeah,
And then
appreciate that.
Yeah, and appreciate that she's reached out to us, and yeah, I'd be okay with asking if she would like to come in and have what you're talking about.
Okay, can you?
I can draft something
Okay, I'll
and send
take
it
a
over
look
the
at
end of the
it.
week.
Yeah.
Yep, I'll send it
All
over
right,
to you.
good. So that being said, I guess that's it. Yeah, anything else to come before the board?
No.
Mr.
Nope.
Seelig has an appointment, so we have to...
That's it. I have softball pictures in 20 minutes.
In uniform.
Yeah, it will be
This
best
right.
dressed softball coach in Halifax.
We'll move to adjourn. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous.